الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Quran Nightly, inshallah, in tonight's Taraweeh, we'll be reciting the 16th Juz of the Holy Quran and a quarter of the 17th, completing Surah Kahf. We'll come upon Surah Maryam, Surah Taha, and part of Surah Anbiya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Kahf says, قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, shall we inform you of the greatest of losers as to their deeds? They are those whose effort is lost in the worldly life, while they think that they are doing well in work. This verse teaches us that good deeds without right motives are a waste of time. Our motive is to earn the reward of doing good deeds in the hereafter. It is the soul of every good deed by which we are driven, otherwise one's good deeds are soulless. Both our actions and intentions need to be pure. We come upon Surah Maryam, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of, in the beginning, Zakaria alayhi salatu wasalam, he prays for a son, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with Yahya alayhi salatu wasalam. Likewise, obviously, the surah is called Surah Maryam, and it talks about her birth and of Jesus, of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. And likewise, this surah also makes mention of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam when he preached Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his conversation with his father as well, who was an idol worshipper, idol maker as well. And also it has a criticism of the misconceptions in regards to intercession and likewise the divinity of Jesus, of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. In Surah Maryam, the miraculous story of these prophets, Sayyidina Yahya and Sayyidina Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, they demonstrate the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by creating Yahya alayhi salatu wasalam with barren parents. Old age they attained, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with a son. And likewise, the birth of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam without a father. He only had his mother, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed her with a son. The Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, in this surah, he stated in the cradle, قَالَ إِنِّي عَبْدُ اللَّهِ, I am the servant of Allah. آتَانِيَ الْكِتَابُ وَجَعَلَنِي نَبِيًّا, I have been given the book, and He has made me a prophet. وَجَعَلَنِي مُبَارَكًا, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made me a source of blessings. أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُ, wherever I am. وَأَوْصَانِي بِالصَّلَاةِ, and He advised me and enjoined me to pray. وَالزَّكَاةِ, and to give zakah. مَا دُمْتُ حَيًّا, as long as I am alive. وَبَرًّا بِوَالِدَتِي, and to be good and obedient to my mother. وَبَرًّا بِوَالِدَتِي, notice here, it is only the mother, since she was the only parent of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. وَلَمْ يَجْعَلْنِي جَبَّارًا شَقِيًّا, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made me a tyrant and among those who are unfortunate. وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيَّ يَوْمَ وُلِدْتُ وَيَوْمَ أَمُوتُ وَيَوْمَ أُبْعَثُ حَيًّا, and may peace be upon me the day I was born, the day I will die, and the day I will be resurrected alive again. And so this was the conversation of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam in the cradle, to make sure that people understood that I am not the servant of God, I am not the son of God, I am a servant of God. قَالَ إِنِّي عَبْدُ اللَّهِ, that's the first thing he said. And that crushes the belief of those who think that Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the son of God. In another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ مِنْ ذُرِّيَّةِ آدَمَ وَمِمَّنْ حَمَلْنَا مَعَ نُوحٍ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْرَائِيلَ وَمِمَّنْ هَدَيْنَا وَاجْتَبَيْنَا إذا تتلى عليهم آيات الرحمن خروا سجدا وبكيا. Those were the ones upon whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed His favor among the prophets and the descendants of Adam, and those who we carried in the ship, meaning with Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam, and the descendants of Abraham and Israel, Israel meaning Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, and those whom we guided and chose. When the verses of the Most Merciful are recited upon them, they fall in prostration and they weep to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The straight path is shown again here as an answer to the petition of Surah Al-Fatiha, just like in Surah Al-Baqarah. Here those words are being repeated to those favorite, and they are the prophets, and the other ones mentioned, min nabiyyina wa siddiqina wa shuhada'i wa salihin, those who treaded the path of success. That's to keep us upon that path. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim. And an'amta alayhim, the tafsir here is that. There is no other book in which its readers prostrate by simply reading it, and throughout every time in history. This is the only book that can that people prostrate because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders them to do so. And so this is another miracle of the Holy Quran. There are 14 prostrations verses that we recite and we fall into prostration. These verses of prostration set the tone for believers that this is not an ordinary book to be critically evaluated and selectively rejected or accepted as done by the Orientalists. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all to the right path. We are in total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to His kalam, to the Quran Majid. فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also says in this surah, but there came after them successors who neglected prayer and pursued desires. So they are going to meet evil. This verse emphasizes prayer and its establishment, without which one cannot build an Islamic environment, an Islamic life, an Islamic community, institution, or government. In the past, we see when the teachings of the prophets were abandoned with the passage of time, their destruction resulted from neglecting to pray, which was the first wrong they committed and ultimately the cause of their doom. And so, as Muslims, we need to uphold prayer and make sure that we continue to pray. And then we come upon Surah Taha. In Surah Taha, these chapters that start with, first of all, the letter Ta, they usually contain the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Taha, Tasin, Tasin, Mim. Anywhere the Ta comes as an isolated letter in the beginning of the chapters, then the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is contained in that. In this chapter, there is a detailed account of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. It starts with him asking for assistance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that to him in the form of the miracles that He blessed him with, likewise with Sayyidina Harun alayhi salatu wasalam. And so he needed that assistance in this path of da'wah to go to Fir'aun. Then he goes to Fir'aun, he challenges Fir'aun and the magicians, and he defeats them. And that whole conversation also that took place, that happens. Then after that, he takes Banu Israel across the Red Sea, the Exodus, and they go. And after that, then when they come upon a people who are worshipping idols, they are misled, and Samiri misleads them when he makes the mold of the calf, in which he threw some dust in it and started to make sounds and have movement and this and that. And so Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when he learns about it, he comes back and he shows his anger upon that, and Samiri confesses and he is punished. And so from this, a long detailed account, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and the Fir'aun. And most of the surah deals with this. And at the end of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, and it addresses the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the beginning here, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made this Quran a burden upon you. Rather, it is a reminder for those who take heed of this admonishment. And so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is told not to feel distressed because of what the kuffar say. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sees and hears everything, and He is with you, and He will help you. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the most powerful, and the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator and the owner of the throne, the arsh. The earth and the heavens is mentioned here to the Arab-speaking people especially as an introduction to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and the Fir'aun. This account starts, and the Fir'aun who thought he was in charge of the earth as the most powerful and highest ruler. Ala fil ard, he was thinking that he was the highest in the earth. He viewed himself as the highest God, Ana Rabbukum al-A'la, as he claimed. So he viewed others also in the heavens as powerful owners of the skies and the heavens as well. تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى الرحمن على العرش استوى. And so therefore, usually in the Quran, the creation of the skies is mentioned, then the earth. Here it's the opposite, because you're dealing with a big-headed character, that is the Fir'aun. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He addresses him accordingly. And He says that he thought he was high in the land. He built a high building to reach the lords as well, to get up to the lords of the sky. Maybe he can tap in some power from there as well. Other places in the Quran, like we mentioned before, they also mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His power. And the one who has power and control of the skies and the heavens, in comparison to this minute land, this minute earth, we have to keep things in perspective. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places him back into the place that he belongs. And many big-headed people also think the same way, and they need to have guidance and not show arrogance, but humbleness in front of the creator of these great, huge creations. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the Quran. And then we finally come upon Surah Al-Anbiya. And this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون ما يأتيهم من ذكر من ربهم محدث إلا استمعوه وهم يلعبون لاهية قلوبهم وأسروا النجوى الذين ظلموا هل هذا إلا بشر مثلكم أفتأتون السحر وأنتم تبصرون. In Surah Al-Anbiya, it highlights many stories of the Anbiya alayhim salatu wasalam, and the universal message of Islam and the urgency to turn toward it. The verse, it tells us that the time of their account has approached to the people. While they are in a state of heedlessness, they're turning away from its signs. How heedless are we? There is no announcement about the day of judgment and reckoning. No fresh message of advice comes here from their Lord, but they listen to it as if they are playing. لاهية قلوبهم. Playing on the internet, playing on their phones, playing on their mobile devices. Their hearts paying no heed. We must not be preoccupied with the distractions of worldly life. So pay attention to every moment and every breath, since nothing is guaranteed. Which brings us to another verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً وَإِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ. Every soul will taste death. Now, people are tasting death even more. And you will be tested. And we will test you with good, with evil, and with good as a trial. Evil, sometimes masa'ib, calamities will befall you. Diseases, infectious diseases will befall you. Plagues will befall you. Genocide, and so many different things. War, in all aspects. And good will as well. You'll be in good times and fortune. You'll be making money. You'll be successful. Have heaps of wealth. This will make you also sometimes heedless from Allah. So if you don't pay attention, wealth can be a fitna as well. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards us will you be returned. So this life is a great test for us, and we have to be both grateful and patient, and make sure that we don't cross the boundaries that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set for us, so that we can come out as winners, while those who don't pay heed to that will be losers. وَنَضَعُ الْمَوَازِينَ الْقِسْطَ لِيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ فَلَا تُظْلَمُ نَفْسٌ شَيْئًا وَإِنْ كَانَ مِثْقَالَ حَبَّةٍ مِّنْ خَرْدَلٍ أَتَيْنَا بِهَا وَكَفَى بِنَا حَاسِبِينَ. And we place the scales of justice for the day of resurrection. So no soul will be treated unjustly at all. And if even the weight of a mustard seed is there of good or bad, whatever it may be, we will bring it forth, and sufficient are we as accountant. Every single dharra, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. Whoever does a atom's weight of good will see it. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. And whoever does an atom's weight of evil will see it. And so every single thing will be brought to account. Nothing will escape these books of account, and every big and small deed will be taken into account. So don't belittle any good deed, or think small of any minor sin. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has guided us to the straight path, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our good deeds in this month of Ramadan, and take us upon the Sirat al-Mustaqim, and give us istiqamah upon it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to recite the Quran, to understand the Quran, and to preach the Quran. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.